Hi. Before going to video, please subscribe to my channel for more interesting stuff.
Story from r/glitch in Matrix. Posted by u/slongdiscs. Did my cat really exist? March 28th. Stayed at home, bored. Was playing Tomb Raider in my room at 10 p.m. The night was pretty chilly, and my family is already sleeping. My pet cat was sleeping on my lap. Just a normal night. I was getting hungry, so I stood up and went to the kitchen, and my cat went with me cause he also wanted a treat. Went back to turn off my PC and went to bed. Morning came and was wondering why Teresa dog next to me went out of my room and asked my mom about it, and she said we always had a dog, and that I was the one who begged for it last 3 years ago. I was pretty sure I did not, nor wish to have a dog, cause I'm not very fond of dogs. I do not even remember when we got it. I just woke up with my cat missing. I even clearly remember what my cat looks like. My mom was dead serious and asked if I was playing games with her, so she showed me some pictures of me bathing my dog last 2 years ago, and what bothered me was that I remembered differently. It was me bathing my cat, and I can even remember the scratch I got from that day. I can even remember what happened last night, the treat, the lap, everything, and it's not even possible because how can a large dog sleep on my lap without me being uncomfortable while playing? I was really confused as to what happened, so I called and asked my friend who always comes over to hang out. He said that I have a dog and maybe I was only hallucinating things. Now I feel weird. How am I supposed to look at my dog? Is this really my dog? Or did it took over my cat's existence? Cause I'm 100% sure my cat existed. Who slept at my lap on that night? P.S. Sorry for my bad English, I'm not a native English speaker. P.P.S. Everything is odd for me, the food, the activities. I do not remember bathing the dog. They don't even look the same. I just woke up to a different pet. That's all I knew. Edit, even I find it odd, everything. Even so, I'm not asking you to believe me. So don't go around saying it's fake cause I too wish it is. Edit 2, I guess coming here for answers really does ease my odd situation. Some may say it sounds fake. Yes, it sounds fake. If I were in your shoes I'd never believe in anything like this. But that doesn't differ you guys from people around me. Forgetting your pet? Never easy. My Goldie is, and never will be replaceable. I am thankful for those odd answers like dimension warping or stuff, but I kinda find it hard to believe this stuff, but who knows? I'm crazy enough to remember a cat that never existed in reality. I don't have any evidence but my memories, and this couldn't be a proof to anyone. Story from r/glitch in Matrix. Posted by u/calcian_4. I may have been talking to a dead couple. Not sure if this belongs here or in a paranormal thread, but here is my story. A few years back I was waiting for my dad and our dog to arrive at the dog park in his neighborhood. I decided to use the swing set next to the park while I was waiting. While I was swinging, an elderly couple pulled up in a small cream-colored pickup truck with a matching camper. I watched them walk into the dog park and couldn't help but notice that they didn't have a dog with them. They sat at a bench that was maybe 15 feet inside the gate. Fast forward a few minutes, my dad and our dog showed up and went into the dog park. I stayed on the swings a bit longer than went to join them. I got in the gate, and before I could make it to the other end where my dad and dog were, the couple stopped me to chat. I forget how they started the conversation with me, but we were casually chatting and my dog ran up on us in a hurry, and started aggressively barking and growling at them while standing next to me. He's a 90-pound Siberian Husky/German Shepherd mix, so he's a big boy and can definitely be scary when he wants to be, but he's well socialized and always super friendly. He was crouched down like animals tend to do when they want to pounce or attack. All of the hair on his shoulders and back was standing up straight. I have never seen him act anything close to this way to anyone, let alone some innocuous old couple minding their business. I could not get him to calm down for the life of me. He would flinch when I'd touch him to try to calm him down, and at one point the husband reached his hand out to try to let him sniff, which was super ill-advised for the danger aspect, but my dog just freaked out more and snapped at him. My dad ran over and grabbed him by the harness and basically had to drag him away, which our dog was not happy about. I apologized to the couple and we continued our conversation. Again, I don't recall how we got to talking, but we talked a lot about death. They admitted it probably seemed strange that they were there with no dog, but they said they had just lost theirs recently. We ended up swapping animal death stories, which was kinda strange to me, but since they seemed to want to talk about it I didn't mind obliging. So they decided to leave. I said goodbye and went to join my dad. I watched as they got in their car, turned their headlights on, and started backing out into the parking lot. My dad was super spooked about our dog's behavior, and how he felt this overwhelming need to act that way towards them. The stance he had was almost protective of me. My dad was convinced I was talking to ghosts. I told him that was ridiculous, then he said that ghosts or not, something is off about them, and our dog knew it. We have all heard stories about how animals sense energies and paranormal things that we can't. So besides the dog's behavior, where it also gets weird is that when we went to leave, I saw the truck again. It was back in the spot they parked in, like it never left. No one was inside the actual truck. It was a tiny two-seater, easy to see inside. I even got a little brave and looked inside the camper to see if anyone was in the bed of the truck, and there was no one. No sign of human life anywhere near this truck. I told my dad about how this was that couple's truck, and I watched it pull away. He confirmed he saw them pull away too. Neither of us could recall it having come back at any point, and when we're at the park we always have a habit of scoping out cars that pull up to see if we recognize the people/dogs coming in. So we both wanted to think we would have remembered the truck coming back. Based on the area this dog park is located in, there's really nowhere for them to have walked to, at least not anywhere that makes sense. It's sort of a developing area with a water park that wasn't open at this time, a couple of furniture warehouses that were also not open, and on the other side is a big dirt field that is up against a major freeway. This just further fueled my dad's idea that they were ghosts. I don't know what happened with them, but it was definitely strange. Edit number 1. Some commenters have suggested they could have been kidnappers, which is something I hadn't thought of before and could be a possible non-supernatural explanation. For reference, I am 28 now, but when this happened I was in my early 20s. I am only 4 feet 10 inches, fairly average build, and have always looked younger than my actual age, so at that time it would not have been unrealistic for me to look like a teenager to strangers, especially at nighttime in public park lighting. Edit number 2. A commenter asked about whether my dog had a reaction to the couple when he first entered the park with my dad, since he would have had to pass by them. Although I thought about this detail, I didn't include it in the story because I couldn't clearly remember whether he did or not, and I wasn't sure my dad would remember either if I had asked him. Waking up twice after sleeping once. For the background info which is needed to be known of here, my great-auntie had passed at the age of 99 with less than 40 days to the big 100. We had to clean out her house to then sell it. I kept a small yet heavy grandfather's clock which had a note on it with a key taped to it, that read, 6 a.m. only clock. I learned very early on, and due to the note, that the clock for some reason chimes every day of the year at 6 a.m. with 6 chimes. No other time, only 6 a.m. Anyways, I woke to my grandfather clock chiming 6 times. I looked at the clock, which I always do as I can't miss it, on my drawer next to my bed reading 6 a.m. So I get up and get ready for school as well as making breakfast for my family, blah blah. My brother picked me up from his flat a few blocks down and kindly offered to drop me off at school on the way to his job. Anyways, we get T-boned by a smaller car traveling reasonably fast, 40-30 km/h, when he should have stopped at his red light. The car rolls once and my brother is alive as he's fighting against the force throwing him from the impact. My body feels excruciating pain for about 1 second before I can hear my grandfather clock, and I'm back in bed looking at the clock, which is chiming. You may think this was a dream, but my heart is thumping my chest still with the shock of getting hit. I feel the pain, but there's no marks on my body. Immense headache. I decided I'm not going AFKing nowhere and stay in bed. Of course I eventually start thinking I'm hallucinating and I've eaten something I shouldn't have the night before. It's only around an hour later my mom rushes into my room and states that my brother was T-boned by a car and he's been rushed to A&E. I don't think people know what the realization feels like when you start second-guessing something you thought you dreamt about or hallucinated. I know times don't exist in dreams, which I saw when I woke up. Every so often I get paranoid and I check several different clocks to see if they are all the same or something rather. For the record, I'm a healthy athlete with no occurring brain problems and never experienced a hallucination. I felt the crash in my body getting thrown around. But what scares me was the pain just before landing in my bed. All my bones felt like they were in a blaze for a split second. My brother has fully recovered and I've discussed this with him, and he said, he stopped outside my house to come pick me up but he was late for work, so he decided to leave without me anyways. For whoever thought I didn't belong in a crash, thanks, but why would you throw me back in time? For what? Round 2? Some things you get over, but this has f***ed with my head for around 5 or 6 years now, and I've decided to just tell Reddit, to see if anyone has experienced similar incidents and what was theirs like. Story from r/glitch in Matrix. Posted by u/slongdiscs. Ever get that feeling of deja vu? You guys probably have ever heard of this term, right? The feeling that one has lived through the present situation before. It bugs you so much that it leaves you a feeling of airiness and unnerving. I don't know if this is some kind of glitch or anything, but I experienced it twice this week. The first was when I slipped inside my bathroom. I know for sure that I experienced this because I remembered a slight pain on my knee before the accident that happened 2 days later, which then goes off minutes later, but I also know that I didn't slip 2 days before, or so I thought. I'm like confused whether this happened yesterday or what. The second was the girl that bumped me on the streets, and I knew that she was gonna say sorry, so I said it's okay, only to find out she didn't say anything. I recalled her saying sorry clearly on my mind, but she got confused by my statement. Even I got weirded out by myself creating scenarios even though I remember them clearly. Do you have any similar scenarios? Story from r/glitch in matrix. Posted by u/content cargo. Nobody besides yourself actually exists. Discussion. So we all believe that we're inside a simulation, right? Well, what if the self is the only thing that's real, that everything that you perceive and interact with is actually just part of the simulation? Anything you can't see doesn't actually exist, and only comes into existence when you can perceive it, and that people you interact with aren't actually real. I think life is actually just a highly advanced VR video game, and that everyone that's not the self is just an NPC that's probably operated or run by an AI. Story from r/glitch in matrix. Posted by u/poobaloo87. Weird commercials on Comedy Central. Hey guys. First time posting here. I've never had something this weird happen to me. I'm home from college and quarantine, and have spent a lot of my time just lazing around. Just 30 minutes ago I was watching The Office with my mom when the commercials came on. I watched through them and 2 weird ones popped up in succession. The 2 commercials both had timers on the bottom, and 2 separate weird codes on the top right. The timers counted to a little over 15 seconds each, and the codes had roughly 8 to 10 digits that were combinations of capital letters and numbers. Other than the timers and codes, the commercials were pretty normal. The first commercial was a sort of social security commercial. I don't recall all the details, but it had a blue and white background. The second had a boy who was like a puppet sort of thing. But at the end of the commercial he came home to what seemed to be his mother at her doorstep, and that one was something about an autism donation center or something. At first I didn't really pay attention to it, just letting it cycle through a couple times. But after a while I decided to point them out to my mom. I said, "What's up with these weird-ass commercials?" She responded with, "What commercials?" Now halfway through the cycle of the 2, I pointed at the autism commercial and said, "Look, Teresa, weird code and a timer on the bottom." She then asked, "What timer are you talking about?" "It's just a medicine commercial." By then, the commercial ended, so I grabbed the remote and hit the rewind button. I went back to the beginning and all that played was a medicinal commercial about women with breast cancer. Surprised, I explained to her that there was a puppet boy and weird timers and codes and social security, and she laughed it off and told me I was crazy. But I 100% know what I saw. Since then I've been sitting here intently watching the commercials hoping to see the 2 pop up again, and they haven't at all. Which is odd because before this they were playing every single commercial break. Just to specificity, I don't have any history of schizophrenia, bad memory, or anything along those lines that may have created a skewed memory. I know what I saw. They were legitimate commercials that played. I'm hoping if anybody else may have seen these on TV recently. I feel like I'm going crazy. Update. I continued to watch the commercials and my mother saw them this time. There's more than 2. The codes are all something along the lines of VLA15_X_NTR, the X being a random number between 1 to 5. I caught one and recorded it. The code on it was VLA15_3_NTR. I don't know what any of this is about. The details in them are very vague. Here's a link to what I got. https://youtube.b/ijix712. I wasn't fast enough to get all of it, but here's proof that it was actually real. I didn't think about recording the rewind, but when doing so, a completely different commercial played over that time slot. TLDR, weird commercials played on TV that only I saw. When I brought attention to them, I was called crazy. I rewinded, and continued watching for them later, but they were nowhere to be found.
Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe for more videos.